Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe Muro. And now, here's Zoe.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the New Thought Media Network, and welcome to Choice, your creative superpower. My name is Zoe Muro, and I am once again delighted to be your host. If you're coming back, it's good to have you here. And if it's your first time, welcome. We're here each Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time and 12 noon Mountain Time to explore how you can use the incredible superpower of choice to co-create your life experience for the greatest good. I'm a religious science practitioner at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living in Northern California and a transformational coach. I work with people who are looking to live their lives to the fullest. Today, in episode 29, we'll be looking at choice and balance. Hello, Fiona. Good to have you here. Okay, let's see. So, choice and balance. I've got to say, I love this topic. It's been a cornerstone of much of the work that I do with people, especially those who are seeking fulfillment in their lives. Balance, it's a part of nature, isn't it? There's an ebb and flow of tides, the waxing and waning of the moon and such. But that doesn't mean that there is actually a fixed, unchanging system at play. In fact, the concept of the balance of nature has been termed a pervasive myth in the face of decades of studies of nature. I bring this up here because whenever we use something as a model, it provides a framework for us. But it can also be a limiting factor in our efforts to understand. Excuse me. Sorry, folks. So yes, there is a balance of sorts to the tides. For example, we have the ebb tide and the flow tide, etc. But that doesn't preclude changes based on natural or man-made actions. Look at forest fires. Forest fires wipe out vast tracts of land. And then rains come and bring mudslides and more destruction. It's not exactly a balancing act at all. And that's not even taking into account that humankind is apparently doing its best to decimate species after species as we overcrowd the planet with billions upon billions of people. But I digress. So why do we want to believe this myth of the balance of nature? It's because there's a comfort in believing that no matter what, things even out. Which brings me to a very important consideration for balance. It's not about things evening out. It's not about equalness. I know that's not really a word, but if I use the word equality, that carries a whole different feeling, because equality is clearly something that is very important. But in this case, the point that I'm trying to make is that there is a significant difference between balance on a weight scale versus, let's say, balance in life, which is really what we're looking at. So let's call that a significant primary choice, how you choose to view balance. Now, I stress this because if you believe that balance is about equal amounts, equal sizes, equal durations, and all those things, well, you're going to be chasing a dream, not a reality. The word balance does actually come from a word that specifically relates to weight scales. That's literally what it is. So not at all surprising that we would look at it that way. When we use the word balance as a verb, then we're saying that we want to indicate that there is an even distribution of weight that allows a person or a thing to remain upright or steady. Okay. We use the word balance as a noun when we're talking about a state of stability. So let's go back to the myth of nature's balance and consider that the concept of stability in our life is not about something that's static, because life itself is not static by definition. So what is balance? Balance is bringing things into harmony. But here's the thing, it's not something that you can get done, just, one and done. But it's something that you continually do. Let's face it, life is a game in which you are continually juggling many balls in the air. Or if you prefer Albert Einstein's take on the subject, got to figure it. Albert's got a good take on this. He said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Yep, no trainer wheels in life, folks. Looking back at the talk that I did a while ago, when I was talking about wellness, consider this suggestion regarding physical wellness. What I suggested was that you choose to develop not a physical regimen that incorporates rest, but an approach to life that seeks balance. In other words, allow the ebb and the flow of your energy, your workload, your available time, your needs and your desires to all be part of that choice. There'll be days when your energy is high. Oh, yes, your motivation is on point and your schedule is wide open. Your plans work out beautifully. But if you muck with any one of those factors, things get wonky real fast. So choosing to see balance as a process and an ongoing process at that can bring a much greater sense of ease to your life. Choosing to let go of a rigid quid pro quo approach to life can bring a greater sense of harmony as well. So let's consider where we look for balance in life. From what I've seen while working with many clients over the years, life balance has typically been referred to as being about work. In fact, it's usually referred to as work-life balance, as if there is work and there is life. Well, here's another choice we can make. We can choose to recognize that work is part of life. Typically, it's a very necessary part of life. It's not something that erodes life. What does erode life? It's easy. Your choices, to a very great extent. Now, hang on. Don't start throwing things at the screen. I know many, many things happen in our lives that are outside our control. And those things can absolutely make life miserable. There's no question. But how we choose to address them, how we choose to react to them or not, can make a huge difference. Let's look at the idea that you're going to work for a few hours, and then in a desire to bring more balance to your life, you choose to take a break. You're going to step out into nature. You're going to read a book. You're going to chat with a loved one, whatever it might be. No sooner do you set out to do so than a big problem arises at work, and you have to cut your relaxation time short. There goes your work-life balance, right? Not necessarily. What it actually means is on that particular day, at that particular time, you lost out on that relaxation. It doesn't mean your life is out of balance. Becoming distraught and raging against the tyranny of the unexpected certainly will not get the work done any faster. I mean, it's quite the opposite. All that energy that you're expending, being so upset about how balance isn't occurring, well, guess what? You're creating a greater imbalance yourself. Now, let's say this is happening every day. Okay. Now, unless you are specifically a troubleshooter, I've had jobs like that where I was always on call to handle whatever problems came up. But unless that's what your job is, perhaps finding balance here is to choose to find ways to head off these problems in advance. Fix the problems at the source. Perhaps your choice is to delegate. Perhaps it's that this is just not the right job for you because this is not the way you want to live your life. And if that's the case, well, then you better choose to begin a job search. We've been looking at balance disruptors as things that are outside of your control. But a great number of balance issues are actually created, as I indicated earlier, by our own choices. I'll give you an example. There's an organization that you support and you believe in with all your heart, and it needs volunteers. Do you choose to say yes, despite your busy schedule, because it's for a good cause? Or do you choose to consider how this will negatively impact your life? If it's going to cut into the time that you need for your wellness, how is that beneficial? Let's say you're planning a vacation. Oh, you're going to this wonderful place and there's so many fantastic activities, sights to see. Do you choose to prioritize which are most appealing and plan your time accordingly? Or do you slam as many activities as possible into each day? I've had vacations like that, unfortunately, with people who had very different ideas as to what a vacation is. And it can get messy. How about this one? You found a great recipe for a dish you've always wanted to make. You've laid out the evening, planned on having this leisurely time preparing this wonderful meal, and then you get a phone call. And someone finds out what you're up to, and they say, hey, I think that I and 3 other of our friends should come over right now because they'd love that. And why don't we all come over like right now? Do you choose to follow your plan? Or do you sigh and struggle to figure out how you're going to get everything done in time to allow for this, what has now become an impromptu dinner party? Choice. Let's see how many ways we sabotage ourselves by choices. Over volunteering, that's a big one. That's a big one for many people who believe strongly in a given organization or a movement. I mean, it has definitely been one I've struggled with. I have an easy and simple way to address this one now. I call it the Loved One Sage Advice Escape Plan, the LOSAEP. I was going to say for short, but it's not terribly short. And, as acronyms go, that doesn't really work. It's like LOSAPE. But Loved One Sage Advice Escape Plan. What that means is, imagine a loved one comes to you and explains, I'm volunteering and they want me to do more and more. And it's really bringing me down. It's like, I just don't know where I'm going to find the time. What would you say to them? That you know that you'd counsel them to back off. How about the overcommitted vacation? Did you ever think about this? Why do we take a vacation? Do you know the word vacation comes from a Latin word that means unoccupied? So how does the rush and the push and the drain of a tight schedule read unoccupied? Have you ever said, having come back from a vacation, well, I need a vacation from my vacation? Choice. And then we get to the friendly impromptu dinner party that you had absolutely no intention of giving this, but yeah, so we throw our boundaries right out the window. Years ago, I used to do all of my cooking for the week on a Sunday because it was my way of finding a balance in my life, because I knew that I would be quite busy and I wanted to be able to have good food. So I found a day when I would have the time to do that. And then I would just heat things up as I needed them. Great way for me to balance out my nutritional needs, my time, my energy. Well, a buddy of mine caught on to what I was doing, and the phone would ring on Sundays. And he'd say, hey, I just happened to be in the neighborhood and I thought I'd drop by. Well, after this happened 2 more times, I wised up and I found that simply saying, I'm sorry, but I just don't have time today, that actually worked out just fine. I was able to get my food prepared. He was still my friend. Might have been a little bit hungrier on Sundays, but he was still a friend. Have you ever told someone, I need more me time? Well, guess what? It's all me time. Taking time to eat a meal, that's me time. Working so you can pay your bills and have money to buy that food and put a roof over your head, me time. Vacationing, volunteering, caregiving, me time. Because it's you, me, I suppose. It's me doing these things. You've chosen to spend your time in this way because of your wants and needs. So seeing balance as a way of life, as opposed to what becomes, in essence, a battle for survival, that's a choice that pays huge dividends. In the first episode of Choice Your Creative Superpower, I noted that our ability to recognize choice points, those points in time when we consciously or unconsciously choose something, well, that's actually a key to life balance. The more times that you see where you are making a choice, the greater your ability to co-create your greatest life experience. The more times you believe you have no choice, the more you feel beleaguered, held down, even victimized. See, we have some comments. Oh, hello. It's good to see you, Luis, from Portugal. Wonderful. Oh, and we have Wayne in Calgary. Fiona is saying, so a visual of balance is like one of flow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. In a previous episode of the show, I spoke about abundance versus scarcity mentalities or mindsets, whichever term you prefer. It should come as very little surprise that an abundance mindset favors balance, while a scarcity mindset fights tooth and nail against it. Because it's not believing that things can have that flow. If you've ever fallen under the seductive spell of perfectionism, you know how easy it is to lose balance. The perfectionist chooses to believe that the end must be met at all costs, or you failed. Or if you believe you can't see it through to the end before you even start, you simply don't try at all. You've equated success only with perfection. Again, a surefire way to erode balance. Look at it this way. If you're doing what you do to succeed at all costs, you've lost an opportunity for fulfillment just as surely as not even trying at all. The idea is not to complete things and be wiped out. That's not wellness. That's not living fully. That's not being able to truly enjoy your life. Have you ever felt you've been given a call to do, or a call to be? That call seems to provide requirements that we need to address. I said, well, this is my call. I must do this. I must be this. Never let your call destroy your balance. David Spangler, in his book, The Call, says the primary call is the call to love. It is a call to be loving and accept love in return. The reason I wanted to quote this is that it seems to me that balance and love, true love, whether it's for another person or it's for oneself, these things are made for each other. Choosing to create and maintain balance in your life means choosing to prioritize. It means choosing to pay attention to your mindset. It means choosing to honor your boundaries. Choosing to create and maintain balance in your life means choosing to nurture your wellness. So we're looking at paying attention to who and whose we are. We're looking at paying attention to our true sense of belonging in the world. We're talking about paying attention to those things that truly can uplift us, the things that can bring us actual wellness. How much more loving can you be than to have that? It's no wonder that life balance is such a driver for so many of us, because it's actually about living a fulfilling life. It's about living an authentic life. It's about living your life. So balance is all about choice. It's all about how we look at our priorities, we look at our needs, we look at our wants, we look at our relationships, we look at our obligations, and we plan. And we figure out how we can take these various parts and bring them together in a harmonious way. With any harmony, there's going to be highs and lows. There's going to be this intensity. There's going to be this softness. All of that is part and parcel of balance. Earlier, Fiona used the word flow. I used to refer to balance as rhythmic balance because I like that idea of a rhythm. I like the idea of patterns and such. recognizing that patterns change, recognizing that if we're looking at harmony, for example, we're looking at a collection of different sounds that work well together. And that is what balance in a life is about. Being able to take these various parts, bring them together, and creating something that is so much better than any of the parts by themselves. So let's see, Fiona. Choosing balance is choosing love or nurturing wellness. Well, it is an interesting way of looking at it, isn't it? Okay, so that is what I wanted to say today about balance. Now, I mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. I would really like to offer you an opportunity to come onto this show and talk about a topic. I'd like to have a conversation about one of the topics. Either something we've already covered or something that you feel would make a wonderful addition to the show. You can always share your thoughts and feelings about choice and balance. Send me an email at zodimuro@email.com. We put that up. There we go. So it's my email address, zodimuro@gmail.com. So you can either send me an email. You can put something into the chat now if you'd like, because I'm always interested in hearing your ideas for additional topics. Okay, let's see, another comment here. Yes, love is balance and justice is balance. And there must be a balance between love and justice. Oh, that is so true. That is so true. Justice very definitely requires balance. And we cannot have balance in our society without justice. We cannot have justice without love. So very, very true. All right. I would invite you to spend some time on the New Thought Media Network if you have an opportunity to this week. We have prayer, meditation, discussions, information. You name it, we've got it. We even have music. If you like New Thought music, go to ntmedia.org/listen. Enjoy any of our, what do we have, over 40 hours of programming each week with more to come. Today, for example, 12 noon Pacific time, 1 p.m. Mountain time. The Joy in the Journey. I love this show with my very good friend and brilliant mentor, Reverend Gina Colvario-Krupka. And while you're exploring the New Thought Media Network, if you are so inclined and if you are able to, please go to ntmedia.org/donate. Help us bring all this goodness to the largest possible audience. We are working to make this world a place that works for everyone. That's balance. Ah, yes, Wayne. Love always wins. Love is indeed the greatest power, and nothing can stand against love. All right, folks. I sincerely hope that you have a magnificent week. And I sincerely hope that you choose well, choose wisely, but choose. Much love, many blessings. Namaste.
Choice. your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Muro.